This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus, and I just got finished cutting a video about the Samsung Gear VR. And I thought I would do a video really quick about the Sony VR headset because I just realized that they're making their announcement a day from the time of this recording, which is March 15th. So by the time you see this, you may have watched or may be watching the Sony press conference where they're supposed to talk about it in a major way. Now, one of the things, of course, I think a lot of us are waiting for is the price as well as the release date, because Oculus Rift has given theirs, the HTC Vive headset that they are making with the help of Valve has been announced, and they're pretty hefty. If you want an Oculus Rift, it's $600. If you want a Vive, it's $800. Mind you, the Vive is probably the better value out the two in my mind, simply because the Vive for $800 is not just the headset, but you're getting like the sensors and you're getting the hand motion controller for it to recognize. So Vive is actually a better package. But now we have Sony with their headset, and Sony is looking at a really good opportunity to do what they kind of did to Microsoft at that E3 in 2013, which is they can undercut them price-wise. Now, the problem here is, well, they can undercut them price-wise like they did Microsoft. What's the quality comparison going to be like? Because, you know, for all, you know, the coolness of the PlayStation 4, it is a console, which means that it's a piece of hardware that is basically what it's going to be for its entire life cycle. There's not going to be any real room for upgrade. Sure, you can infuse some software updates that may allow like your programs to better utilize certain things of the hardware, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be the same processor, same graphic card, same memory, whatever, for however long Sony decides to keep it on the market. Whereas with, you know, the Vive and the Oculus, they're on PC, and while they have hefty requirements, when you consider like what some people have or what the average PC owner have, not the hardcore gamer who just go ball out, you know, ball out and buys a like fucking $1,200, $1,500 PC that has all the latest parts and the most expensive video card and all the memory and, you know, all the USB ports, because you're gonna need a bunch of USB ports, people. I think at least 3, if not 5, for both. You're gonna need a lot of fucking USB ports, 3.0 USB port at that. So, you know, unless you're one of those people who like have a setup like that, you're not going to be able to partake in PC virtual reality. So if you own the PlayStation 4, that PlayStation VR is probably looking really good to you if the price is right. And I think that at the end of the day is going to be the biggest thing, is that if Sony is able to price the PlayStation VR at a considerably reasonable price, and when I say considerably reasonable, Sony has said several times, we're going to treat this as a new platform. That to me says, yeah, you're going to pay about console price at least, which means that this can cost $300, $400. I'm thinking $400 is going to be the price. If it's $300, I think that's a win for Sony, because they get it out there at a price cheaper than their console, not just cheaper than their competition. But I think it's going to cost as much as the PS4 costs. And even then, that's kind of a win, because again, you look at Oculus at $600, you look at Vive at $800, and you look at the fact that there's a lot of people out there with PlayStation 4s, so it has a significant install base. Mind you, damn near everybody has a PC, but again, going back to specs, you may have a PC
but you may not have a good enough PC. Whereas, as long as you have a PS4, you're good enough to go for PlayStation VR. So that's going to be a big thing too. If Sony can give the console market a good price, people will snatch it, because people already, like, again, the Oculus and the Vive sold out. Again, it's probably not that many units made, but at the same time, that's still great. Just think if Sony were to, process a certain amount of units and they were to sell out, they would be more inclined to keep pumping out more and more and more. And again, you have a 30 million user base. You could do a lot. You could have a lot of success with that VR. You get people to buy into it, and that's the ultimate thing. Is people are gonna have to buy into it. Again, using this right here, I'm not like a strong believer who's going to go all out and be like, "Oh my God, this is the next greatest thing." Nah, I'm still, kind of sitting back waiting, because having been around during the 80s, 90s, and seeing VR being brought up in those eras and how they were handled, I'm waiting to see how, Oculus, Valve, and Sony handles this new attempt to make VR a thing. Because that's going to be the most important thing. It's all going to be about how these companies continue to support. The first wave is always going to be the roughest. That's why we got these really high-end price headsets and all of that. It's going to be the roughest. So if you're an early adopter like that, yeah, expect to get bent over price-wise and stuff like that. It just always happens. Expect to get the least of the quality, because you're the guinea pig. But if this is able to generate enough success to where all these companies keep pushing and keep improving, and then eventually getting to the place where all of them have such a good price point that nobody's going to balk at buying these, and you get around to a point where they're well supported in software and things like that, VR could be something that's going to be it's probably not going to take over the controller experience or the traditional gaming experience, but it's going to be a very significant part of the gaming ecosystem. But they have to execute. Sony has to execute. Oculus has to execute. Valve has to execute. But right now we're talking about Sony, and Sony really needs to execute, because this is the company that's not the most financially stable. As well as the PlayStation has done, it's not like the entire company is all roses. Actually, PlayStation gives a significant boost to Sony as a company. So if they can get this popping off, just imagine how much of a boost it'll be for the company. I would like to see all of these headsets be successful in some way, but before they can do that, they're gonna have to do a tremendous job with their presentation and their software. I think Sony's benefiting from letting the other two put themselves out there. Now they can create the kind of atmosphere, presentation, and buzz being the last in line. Although I guess you can consider HoloLens as maybe the last in line. Although it's an experience that Microsoft has said before they don't think they'd ever put out to market. So they kind of dispelled themselves. But who knows? It may show up. But as it stands, PlayStation VR, the 15th, I'm gonna get some information. So I'm curious to see pricing, date, and just what their plan moving forward with it. If they actually have a plan of execution. If they have a really solid plan of execution of how they're gonna build on that brand, then it could be something that could end up being around for a long, long time. But anyway, as always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak, Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.